Okay, so today what we're going to do is we're going to kind of revisit some of the conjectures that we've had before, and we're going to kind of put them all together. And so if we look at this, it says a perpendicular bisector conjecture. So think back to when you created a perpendicular bisector. It says if a point on the perpendicular bisector of a segment, then it is blank from the endpoints. So think about that. If a point is on the perpendicular bisector of a segment, what do you think it is from the endpoints? What could go in that blank? Equal, so equal distance, so basically equidistant. So basically, if it lies on the perpendicular bisector, it's the same distance from each of the endpoints. Now the converse. This should be pretty easy to fill in because remember, basically you switch the if and then statements. If a point is equidistant from the endpoints of a segment, then it is on the perpendicular bisector of a segment. Now that's the converse. Okay, basically we've switched them. Okay, so we have a third conjecture. Our third conjecture, the shortest distance from a point to a line is measured along the perpendicular segment from the point to the line. So basically, the shortest distance, if you want to abbreviate, you could put an upside down T for perpendicular and then put segment. Basically what that's saying is if you want to draw the shortest distance to a line, you have to draw a perpendicular. Angle bisector conjecture, if a point is on the bisector of an angle, then it is
Perpendicular.
blank from the sides of the angle. Equidistant, there you go. So anything on the angle bisector is equal distance from the sides of the angle. So now what we're going to do is we're going to get to section 3.6, which is on construction problems. So basically it's putting everything together. Good times. So we need to construct triangle ABC using the three segments AB, BC, and CA shown below. This one actually is a fairly easy construction. Okay, so we're going to construct triangle ABC. So what do you think would be a very good thing to do first?
Draw a really long segment.
Draw a really long segment. Now, this is what you're going to do. I'm going to start with point A. Now, I'm supposed to construct triangle ABC. So what I'm going to do is pick the longest of the three segments. That's the very first step. Pick the longest of the three segments. And so the longest of the three segments will be segment CA. What I'm going to do here is just duplicate that segment. So remember to duplicate that segment. All I'm going to do is go ahead and measure that with my compass, and I'm going to make an arc. Once I've done that, I'm going to come down here. I'm going to go ahead and make an arc. So what do I know about that purple line, or that purple segment right there? That's C. Yep, equal to CA. Good. So that's your first thing. Now what we're going to do is we need to find B. And I know that B is somewhere between A and C. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and measure segment AB. Okay. So I'm going to measure segment AB, and I'm going to go ahead and draw an arc in. I'm going to go ahead and come down here to A, and I'm going to go ahead and draw an arc. Now I don't know where it's at, so I'm just going to go ahead and notice I went ahead and put a big arc there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to measure segment BC. Okay, notice here I need to make it a little bit bigger. And then I'm going to go ahead and make my arc. Where am I going to put this at? On C. And where am I going to swing the compass? Back up. Here we go. And so I know that where these intersect, what point will be there? B. Yep. So your final step will be to then draw in your segments. And so to go ahead and draw in my segments, I'm going to go ahead and start here. And I'm going to go down to A. And then I'm going to start here at C, and I'm going to draw up to B. So that's how you create the triangle. We've duplicated 3 sides. Now the beauty of this triangle is if you look at the question here, how many different sized triangles can be drawn? How many do you think?
3.
There's going to be a lot. Because if you think about it, I don't have to start with segment AC looking like that. I could draw it another way. I could put this point B below AC. So there are a lot of different sized triangles that we could draw. So let's go and look at this next one. Construct a triangle A, B, C. What do you think you're going to start with? Because notice here I've got a side, and an angle. So where do you think you're going to start? Line, yep. So very first thing what you're going to do is start with a line. I'm going to call this line what? AB. So the very first thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and duplicate segment AB. So I'm going to go ahead and bring A over. Hopefully I'll be able to duplicate this one. We'll see. Let's bring that one down. Oh no, it might be too wide for my compass. Let's see. Oh, it is. Crud.
Split it in half and
What? Are you kidding me?
Split it
Okay,
in 2
we're gonna
pieces.
cheat. Anyway, normally you would use your compass, okay?
Oh, Mrs. Posey.
I know, I'm sorry, it's because my compass isn't big. Normally I would construct that. So we're looking at about 7 1/16. So we'll come down here. So here we go. I know, this never happens, mark it down. There's where my mark is. So anyway, I'll go ahead and get rid of my ruler, and there's where B is. So then now what do you think you're going to do? Measure your angle, very good. So let's go ahead and measure our angle. Going to go ahead and bring that over here. So remember to measure your angle. First thing you do to duplicate your angle is you're going to go ahead and draw an arc.
couldn't you just use the other one?
What?
Couldn't you just use the arc on there?
I could use the arc on there, yes. But you're not supposed to write in your book.
Well, I know, but it doesn't
Okay.
even matter.
So there's your first one. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and come over here, and I'm going to go ahead and measure the angle. So let's go ahead and figure out how far we got. I'm going to bring my compass back a little bit. Open it up. There we go. And let's go ahead and mark that and see what we got. Okay, gonna come down here, do the same thing. Oops. There we go, get that baby out of there. And then the next thing I'm gonna do is go ahead and draw a segment through there. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with my segment. Draw that through there. And then what's the last thing I'm gonna do?
Measure AC.
Measure AC, very good. And so hopefully my compass will work for this one. I don't think it will. We'll see if it's too wide. So I'm gonna go ahead and measure what segment AC is. You think it's gonna be too wide?
No, it won't be.
Whoa, that's close. Close. Gonna go ahead and make my, there we go. Come down here. Go ahead and swing that baby up. Oh man, I about didn't make that line big enough. And so what point is that?
B.
C.
Oh,
C.
C. Sorry.
And then the very last thing you need to do is go ahead and draw that segment in. So I'm going to start here. And there is triangle A, B, C. So we have duplicated a segment, an angle, and another segment. Now you've got a wonderful assignment today. It's found on pages 171, 172. It is constructions and its various problems.
Oh,
I don't know if there is problems for me, but
I'm actually going to go ahead and change that a little bit. I I need you to do 1 through 6, not 1 through 10. So I need you to change that to, instead of being 1 through 10, I want you to change that to 1 through 6.
Thank you.
Okay?